Hello and welcome. My name is Cameron Smith and today I'll be teaching you how to operate the TeamSpeak servers, the Discord servers and the forums for Undergroundrp. Undergroundrp is a server on the game mode Altus Life in the game Arma 3. Altus Life is a realistic roleplay server where many different variations of real life are incorporated into the game. Today we will be showing you systems in which help with gameplay, including how to talk, how to set up groups and stuff, how to just watch out for announcements that actually appear on the server. So first we're going to start with TeamSpeak, because in the Underground complete guide there is actually TeamSpeak sections. So if we scroll down to the TeamSpeak sections, we can see that there's the TeamSpeak IP, which I will show you how to use in a moment, and of course a warning about the security level. The security level needs to be around 28. To get it to 28, simply try and join the server and you will be prompted to upgrade your security level. Just click set it to 28 if it's not already there, and just click update, and it will update your level to 28 in a few moments. Then you may join the server. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the TeamSpeak IP by copying and pasting, and I'm going to show you how to connect. So we take this and we very simply put it into the connections bar. I've already got it, but if I put it back in again, simply like that, and then you connect.
Disconnected.
I will reconnect to the server to show you. So as you connect, you start off in the welcome section. Here is a server IP that you may use in place of the ts.undergroundrp.uk. They work the same, you will connect to the same server. For people who are not in a faction, such as the Crimson Battalion, the police and the NHS, you must join one of these rooms if you wish to talk. You may also join one of these rooms to give suggestions to the dev team or to have a community meeting. In the case of an event, you may also talk to others through the event rooms. A bit further down we see that we have some support rooms. Here we have the waiting support. If you join this, all staff get a ping to alert them to the fact that you are in need of help, and they will join you and they will move you down to one of the support rooms. Here we have our staff channels. These are for staff only, so we don't need to worry too much about them. But here we have Fabian, or Vortex, one of the founders. He's nice, he's a Norwegian, he's very good. He does a bit of coding in that for the server, very nice. Dan, who's in charge of the NHS or the CMO, he's quite good banter, lovely gentleman. We have CC James, or Chief Commissioner James, who is in head of the police. He is a nice gentleman as well, very knowledgeable in the police. And we have Phil DeGurf, one of our developers. He is in charge of just developing the server. He's quite good at what he does. He has fixed quite a lot for us. So if you notice next to their names you have a bunch of icons. These blue people icons show that they are all staff level 2. A staff level 2 simply can do things in the actual game. They are the in-game admins. A staff level 1 is who deals with forums, Discord and TeamSpeak. So most often or not you will get one of those. Here we have our founder's office. Jack Devil, he's a lovely gentleman. He created this along with Ethan and Vortex. They're all lovely gents, they know their stuff and they're willing to help. Ethan does a lot of the coding for the server and is a lovely gentleman. If you do see them, don't be afraid to talk to any of them. They'll sit down and have a blether with you. Here we have our donators room, where we can see my donator room, and Vantrilix, who is in charge of the academy for the police. Here we have the NHS rooms. This is just their command, so we've got Chief Medical Officer Dan, who is the staff officer above, their meeting room, boarding room, the departments and lounges, the vehicles and the special branches, and of course the medical training unit, which is who you would apply to and who reviews your application when you want to join. Here we have the police. Police Officer James. Chief Constable James is the head of the police, and of course he is set out as TeamSpeak is to have his office, the meeting rooms, the lounges, their patrol channels, their operations, their special branches down here, and of course their academy, which is who you apply to and who will review your application. Then we have the Crimson Battalion, headed by the lovely Aaron Michaels. He's quite a knowledgeable man, quite good with the Crimson Battalion. He is quite helpful and a nice person to talk to. You will find that they're all quite nice. Always willing to help you. If you do have any problems, don't be afraid to ask. But here in the Crimson Battalion, of course, we have his command channels, his lounges, his patrol channels, and his recruiting. Here we have some gang channels. The gang channels are quite easy. Just to make a gang and ask the support, and they will make you a channel for your gang. These channels can be locked, and of course you can go in and talk to your in-gang staff without having to like communicate across different platforms or even in-game. Now we have a music bot here somewhere, but as you can see here, live music and that. If in a private office like the donator rooms or the NHS command, the command owner, if they give permission, will take in the bot and you can use it in there, no matter who disagrees. In the public channels, be aware, if someone disagrees with having the music bot in, you shouldn't have it in there, just to be courteous to others. So this is the TeamSpeak. Certain channels you cannot get in, like the Kilo Victor channels or the Crimson Battalion channels, you cannot get in them without the correct tags. I, as you can see over here, am a PCSO and a paramedic and one of the members of the medical training unit, so I can get in to pretty much channels from here downwards to about here. I can't get into these two, but I can get into these. If you're a member of the NHS, the police, or of course the Crimson Battalion, you must join the TeamSpeaks. You cannot get out of that. Okay, that's all the TeamSpeaks for now, so if we just minimise that. Next we're going to deal with the Discord. Here is our Discord. Here we have a bunch of things to do. It's the Underground Roleplay Discord. The link to all of that and the TeamSpeak will be in the description of this video. Or you can look at it from the forums, which I will show you how to do in a moment. So if I just open everything and show you everything. So here we have our official. So these are things like our announcements, updates, info and temp bugs. We also have our general post suggestions, events, requests, tag, new staff questions, off topic, new arrivals, not safe for work party, in character, the voice channels that you may use, the NHS, the police and the Crimson Battalion. So first we have announcements. This is where general stuff will be announced. For example, our founder, Jack, is saying he is making a guide. So if anyone wants to join, come in. We have updates where they will update you on things that are coming to the server. For example, the ban system now being up. Ignore this. Any info, so for example, restarts or compensation. The temp bugs log, where they will tell you how to tell you what's going on. This has been fixed, by the way. When you respawn, you will respawn. Here are the polls they have, so you may fill in polls. Here we have our suggestions, where we can, so for example, I've been suggesting that maybe the rubber bullets for the police should be rubber bullets instead of like death bullets, and also about the things in the inventory. Here we have the events announcements. Request tags, so if, for example, if I was missing my police tag, I would come in here and ask for it, like Luftwaffe has done. We have the need staff channel, in case you need a member of staff to help you, so Fildergerf was needing more members of staff than that. Questions directed to anyone can go in here, especially staff. For example, Cadaver was asking if we could remove the markers for the drug routes and the traders, the fields, mines and the processors, just so that police couldn't see it, so that it would be a bit more realistic, which was quite good. Here we have off topic, when anything can go in, like this. It's quite good. We have the new arrivals, just to show who's coming into the server. Not safe for work party, where we have pictures of, not that, but we have pictures of cats and Jesus, because this is a Christian server. We have in character, where example, Vortex is telling us that it's going to take down all the NHS members for Crimson, and saying he's a god. This is where we play it in character. Voice channels, so that we may all go in and help. We've got the NHS lounges. Now, unless you have the tags, you will only be able to see public NHS and public cop. Like, I can only see public Crimson. And these just simply, for example, the new uniforms, applications, stuff like that. The NHS lounges simply lounges show what's going on in between, but I'm not going to show you that today because they're private. Over on the side here, what we can see is, we're just going to pause. What we can see is that we've got staff level 2 to 3. Level 2 staff can go and do in-game administration. Level 3 staff can spawn things in. These people these are the people who will go to if something is wrong in the game. Staff level 1 can deal with the Discord, the TeamSpeak, and of course the forums. We have Ventriloquist at the moment. I'm not sure who else is staff level 1, but yeah. And as we can see, some lovely people we mentioned. Ventriloquist is quite good. He's quite knowledgeable in the server, so do ask. We have the police, and if you're like me, police and NHS. Then we have Crimson Command, led by the fabulous Iron Michaels, and of course all the on and offline people. We have some of our cops, our founders, our owners, a member of the Barry Scott fan club. Yeah, I believe that's it. So this is our Discord. Do come in, do join us, because we like to have chats in here and everything. So next we're going for the forums. This is the forums. This is the link, and I will post it. It is also in the book here and here. This will take you to the rules page of the forums, which we will look at in a moment. And here are just the forums in general. So once you come onto the forums, you will see a bunch of features. The most important one at this stage is the login function. Just simply click it and click sign in through Steam, and you will be able to sign in. I won't sign in here because just for simplicity, but once you've signed in, basically your profile picture, like mine over here, will appear in the corner here, and you can sign out and do a bunch of things, edit your forms and everything. Here is the TeamSpeak, so clicking this will take you to TeamSpeak, clicking this will take you to Discord. This will show you all of the members and who fits into which roles. For example, Jag is our police. This is the donate function, which has not been set up yet, but will allow you to donate through Patreon, I think. Here's the servers, which you can join through the actual website. Now, on the actual form, we can see that we have a chat box. When you're signed in, you're allowed to write in this. We have the statistics, the donation goals, some featured content, and of course community things. Here's where you receive news and announcements, so if we click on that, if it loads, so here we have bug reports, and of course the bug report form. Here we have introductions for you to introduce yourself, general discussion, the rules which we'll open for a moment. Here is where you can apply to the different fractions. So for example, the police force, you just simply take this, copy it, and then of course you put in a new thread. It might ask me to sign in here. Yes, it will. So, and of course you fill it in afterwards. Here's your ban appeal, your ban requests, your staff apps, and your archives. If you want to be staff, you can apply for staff here. If you want to have someone banned, you may apply for it here. And if you want to appeal a ban, you may apply here, and of course look at the wastelands. If you're going to appeal for a ban request, please record. An important thing on the server is to record everything, simply because it allows us to deal with things. So here is of course the systems, the roles. So here's your non-appealable ban for minor offences, and it can go from 12 hours to a week. Your appealable bans or your major offences can go from a month to a permanent ban. To appeal, you must wait a week if it's a month ban, 3 weeks if it's a 2 month ban, 2 months if it's a 6 month ban, or 4 months if it's permanent. If you get banned on TeamSpeak, you can appeal from 2 days. If your appeal fails, you must wait a 2-week cooldown. If you're banned for more than a week, you of course lose all your fraction privileges. You get removed from those fractions. Now we will go and have a look at the rules, of course. So these are just our general rules, and we'll go through them all today. Rule 1, RDM. Random deathmatch. This is where you don't initiate on someone. So for example, initiation would be going up to someone and saying, put your hands in the air or I'm going to put a bullet through your head. Simple, quick initiation. If you don't initiate and just fire your bullet, you're a breach of the RDM rule. This is a bannable offence. Please record everything, because you might initiate, someone might not hear it and they might report you for RDM. Please record everything I say, just to be sure. Now as we can see, RDM is bad, and then we've got VDM. VDM is vehicle deathmatch. This is where you sit in a car and you ram into someone else or someone else's vehicle, causing them to die or get knocked over. This is not allowed. There's something else which occurs, which is desync ramming. Please record, because this can happen. This is where there's a disconnect in the syncing between you and the server doesn't know where you're meant to be, and you can actually crash into people accidentally with this. So, if you do crash and you're both okay during a chase, just repair your vehicles, carry on, and that should all be fine. A little side note to this would be that when driving along, you can initiate on a moving vehicle, which we'll look at further down, but you can initiate on a non-moving vehicle or one that's moving extremely slowly, and you can initiate on the tyres, but we'll look at that further down. Teleporting or soft logging. You're not allowed to just simply log off and log back on within the space of 10 minutes just to change the position. So for example, it says logging off in Sofia and spawning back at Kavala. That is not allowed. That is not realistic. You should not be able to do that, or you shouldn't do that. That would risk a disciplinary action. When flying above cities like Kavala or Athena, you must not fly below 350 meters. This is because the sound of the helicopter can block out communications, and this is a server rule just for that reason. An admin may choose to despawn your helicopter, meaning that you will fall and die, or you may have warning shots thrown at you. Just please keep above 350 meters. Language. To allow ease of communication, we'd ask that everyone speak English. We apologise to our non-native English speakers, but we'd ask that you speak English just to help us along. Microphone. Please have a clear working microphone. You must have it. This is a clear server rule. Have it. You just have to have it to be able to speak to people. Combat storing and logging. Combat storing is where you store your money, vehicles, gear. Well, in combat, this is not allowed because it allows you to store everything, and then if you die, you lose nothing. You should, of course, keep your stuff on you, and if you die, you lose it. That's tough, but it's for realistic roleplay. Combat logging. To avoid a combat situation, if you simply log off and then or log back on or just log off, you, of course, that is against the rules, because that is just you trying to get out of a situation that you don't want to be in, and I'm sorry, that just can't happen. If your game does crash, your internet cuts out or anything like that, contact a member of staff, get a recording of it, send it through, you'll be fine. You won't be punished if it's just a game crash or an internet cut, that's fine. Value in your life. You must value your life at all points. If someone is if someone comes up to you and is at the back and you say, put your hands on your head or I'm going to shoot you, if you don't and you run away, or you tell them fuck off or anything like that, there's an issue there. You must do that. You have to value your life. Prison break. Do not fly people out of the prison, essentially. Just break them out the normal way, which will be a panel at the front which you can use to break someone out. Do not, at any point, try and fly them out. That is against the rules. Baiting. You're not allowed to bait other people with the intention of killing them, of course. An example of this would be if you broke your car on purpose because you knew someone was coming down the road and you stopped and said, oh, can you help me, I need my car fixed, but you had friends simply waiting around and you came in initiation or not, you baited them in, that is against the rules. You might get banned for that. Metagaming. Metagaming is using out-of-character knowledge to give yourself an advantage in game. Simply, if you're watching a Twitch stream and you can see that people are in a combat situation, you know where they all are. And if you're actually in that situation and you tell all your friends, oh, they're behind here, I can see it on the stream, that is metagaming. You shouldn't be allowed to do that. You can't do that. That will get you banned. Power gaming. This is where something that isn't in-game is being used to an advantage. So for example, if I as a police officer came up and said, who are you? And you said, I'm not going to tell you. And I said, well, give me your fingers, I'll run the fingerprints. That's power gaming. That is me using something that isn't in the game to give me a clear advantage. Breaking RP. Never break your RP character, ever. If an admin comes up to you and talks to you, that is the only time you're allowed to break RP. Other times you use the side chat. Never break it RP in game. Use the side chat, and I will show you how to do that in another video. Hostage. If you're a hostage, just comply with all demands. If your communications are seized, you have to stop talking except through direct communication in the game. You must hot mic all of your radio conversations if you're taken hostage. That means simply keeping the mic on constantly so that you can hear everything, the people with you can hear everything. You're not allowed to take gang members or anyone in a voice call with you hostage, because then that's essentially getting everything to play into your hands. That's not fair. NLR. When you die, forget everything. You must start a new life completely. Forget who killed you, forget everything. Stay 1,500 meters away from where you died for a minimum of 15 minutes. If you died by a glitch or RDM, you do not need to do that, because that is not a proper roleplay death, so it doesn't apply. If you break into someone's house, it is not initiation. If someone is breaking into your house and they initiate or you initiate, then you can shoot, but the breaking in of the house itself is not initiation. Now we have our colour zones, so we have the green and the blue zone. The green zone is the safe place. No sort of illegal activity may occur. No robbing, no combat, initiation, land of air vehicles, nothing can take place there. Except in the garage, you are allowed to land your air vehicle to store it. That is the only place where you are allowed to land inside the green zone, is simply at the garage, nowhere else. Unless you're a medical or police, then you have your own special garages and helipads, but you aren't that. So, the specific rules of the green zone are, of course, you can't hold any illegal items in a house within the green zone. You're not allowed to wait outside the green zone to initiate. You can't enter the green zone while you're in combat. You can't flee to the green zone to get out of combat or after you've been initiated on. You can't follow someone out of the green zone to initiate on them. Police, of course, can confiscate guns and tase within the green zone. In the blue zone, this is the police zone. This is found round about the police stations, while the green zone is found round about cities and stuff. So in here, you can't camp and outside of it with the intent to initiate. You can't flee to the blue zone while initiation. Police can use tasers and of course rubber bullets, and you may land, but the police may ask you to leave. Initiation rules. You have to have a gun in your hand to initiate. You must be visible to the other person you're initiating in some way. Spike strips may be used, and they are not. They can be used without initiation, but they are not initiation. You may not initiate on someone when in a vehicle, or at least speeding past, because they can't hear you. If someone initiates on you, then any gang members or people in the TeamSpeak or Discord are also initiated and can fight back. So if 7 people around and you're on the TeamSpeak together and someone initiates on you, everyone in that TeamSpeak is initiated on, so they can all fire. If an officer initiates on you with non-lethals, this is initiation and you may open fire. So if I came up and said, put your hands on your head or I'm going to tase you, that is initiation, you can fire me. An example of good verbal initiation would be hands up or I'll put a bullet in the back of your head. This is good in initiation. If you just shout hands up, it's classed as RDM, you may get banned for that. The example of bad initiation is of course hands up or die. This is a terrible form of initiation. It's just awful. You're saying to them hands up or just get killed. You offer them no alternative, nothing. But because this phrase is so banned, it's actually banned on the server and you can't get banned for that. When initiating on a vehicle, of course, you must be visible not on a vehicle yourself. You can't initiate on fast moving vehicles. You can initiate on tyres without initiating on players, of course. However, as soon as those tyres are shot, that player is allowed to return fire, and then you can just have a firefight. When warning shots in air vehicle, you must fire at least 4 unsuppressed taser rounds next to, not at the vehicle. If they fail to leave the airspace, you can just take the helicopter down. Initiation ends after, of course, 3 minutes after the last gunshot is fired, or someone says it's clear who's involved in the situation. We're going to leave this bit for the fraction rules. Fraction rules. As in a fraction, you cannot give your equipment out to anyone. Do not give it to anyone except food, water, and toolkits. You can give out weapons to other members of your own fraction, but that is based on their handbooks, of course. You cannot camp at a drunk minor field processor if your police are crimson for more than 10 minutes, within a cooldown of 30 minutes. This does not apply to crimson if they're in their own lands, which is marked by a big border fence, simply because they own everything there. Medics are a neutral fraction. They can be robbed, initiated on, or taken hostage. You can, as a medic, you can't be threatened to leave, of course, and you can try and roleplay to revive someone, but ultimately you must leave. You cannot perform anything illegal. You may not assist any fractions simply because you're neutral. Combat reviving is something the medics or the police can do, which is simply when you revive someone in a combat situation. You can't do that. You have to wait 3 minutes after the last bullet has been fired to stay at least 1,500 meters away. When it's over, you can go and revive. If a gunshot is fired when you're reviving someone, just simply leave and go the distance away. If you don't, that would be classed as not valuing your life, and you will be punished for that. If you're a police negotiator, you will be negotiating at the HM Treasury, the gas station, or a hostage situation. In the HM and the hostage, you must be unarmed. That is an absolute requirement. At the gas station, it is preferable, but you don't always have to be. You cannot kill a negotiator until he has ran away and rearmed himself or herself. The negotiator cannot be taken hostage unless they have a gun. Only one negotiator may be sent unless more are requested from the perpetrators robbing. HM Treasury is if the HM Treasury is being broken into, the police must send in a negotiator, comply with all rebel requests as long as they're reasonable, which will be judged by the person in command. If a blast charge is placed, all negotiations are off and it's KOS. TeamSpeak rules. You must have the same name on your TeamSpeak as you have in the server. It cannot be offensive, and it must be the same name. You cannot use your tags in an abusive way. So for example, as a police, I cannot just enter channels if I'm not on as a police and start talking with people. That is tag abuse. I can't move anyone out. That is also tag abuse. The music bot, as we discussed, if someone in the channel doesn't agree, you can't have it in, but if it's in a private room, you just need the permission of the owner. Do not use offensive avatars. They will be removed and you may receive a ban. Do not spam. As an example of a good avatar, Connor Benson, or Dan, has a very good picture of the Queen's face. Staff rules. If you spot an admin in their VR suit or invisible, you must act like they aren't there. Just ignore them. Unless they talk to you directly, or if they message you, then you talk to them back. If they message you, you can message back without breaking roleplay within the actual game. If you need an admin, just simply message them on your in-game tablet or through TeamSpeak or anything like that. If you feel like a member of staff has been abusive, make it known to the staff lead. The correct way to do this would be to have a recording of what you believe is the staff abuse and to send it on to them so that they may make a decision. And if a staff decision is made, it is final. But if you do not agree, simply request a staff lead and explain to them why you believe it is unfair and ask them to look into it, and they will help you as best they can. Staff are allowed to join any channel they want without permission as long as it is due to a staff investigation. They're allowed to take people out and investigate. That is just simply a rule to help in what they do. The community rules. You cannot discriminate on sex, gender, race, or anything like that, disability. Treat everyone the same. As I always say, you shouldn't treat people based on anything apart from what they say and what they do. It is purely their merit in which they are to be based on. If you're a good cop, it doesn't matter what sex you are, what race you are, what sexual orientation you are, you're a good cop. If you're a bad cop, the same applies. Simple as that. Do not discriminate. You have a zero tolerance policy, you're going to get banned. Do not impersonate someone without their permission, because this can have bad effects on them. It can people can go and hunt for them and that. Just don't do it. Do not use hacking or cheating. No scripts and no cheats, no little glitches or that to change the functionality of your game. If this is found, please report it to an admin. If you find a glitch or a little cheat that you can find to do in the server, just simply report it so that they can fix it so that it can't happen. And of course, nothing bad will happen to you. Do not attack anyone based on any personal information, and do not give out anything personal. Essentially, they say here without the person's consent, but I would say just don't do it at all, simply to avoid any hassle. If someone wants to share something, they'll share it themselves. Don't worry about it. Don't advertise anything except for Twitch or YouTube. For example, if we go back onto the forums, we can see that someone here has made 2 YouTube videos for us, and we are fine to have that with us. We don't mind that. If you're trying to do another community of server products, teams, other sort of things like that, you will just get banned. Do not cause harm, fear, distress, offence to someone. That will result in a permanent ban. Do not. Just treat everyone as you would treat yourself. Very nice, very gentle. You'll be fine. And please do not spam. Alright, thank you very much. This has been Cameron Smith for Underground Roleplay. Simply taking you through our communication system. If you wish, do message me. I'm on the TeamSpeak, I'm on the Discord, I'm on the forums. Send me a message if you need any help. I'm always happy to help. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy your day.